Lockdown's been a really strange affair, and I think it's been an unprecedented affair for the whole dental profession. So, in terms of how does it affect myself, the idea that you're not going to be working or that you're forced not to be working is a really scary one. On the other side of it, spending more time with your family was an opportunity that we'd never usually get. So I think that when you combine those two things, you get a couple of different emotions. And it was just trying to then sift through one so that you could be organized and settled and emotionally in the right place and spend time with your family. So I think for me, it's been an interesting ride. I've learned a lot about myself. When you're forced to go from 100 miles an hour to zero, all of it in a split second, spending time with the family has been great, but it's also been about how we become more resilient as a profession, how we become more resilient as a practice, and to some degree how you manage yourself within your family to make sure that you get the best out of the situation, because of everything. You don't have control over the situation, and you've got to make the best from it. Running the practice when you're locked down was a very interesting way of providing any form of empathetic care to your patients and those that trust you. On one side of the coin, I'd never heard of the term furlough, and now I'm very, very familiar with the term furlough. So it's caring for your team, caring for your staff to ensure that they know that the practice is still a viable proposition, to know that they still have a place of work, but it's also making sure that your patients are cared for. And to some degree, that's where I looked upon the advice of many people around me, including my defence company. And so, on that note, it was a case of trying to make sure that the modes of communication to your patients were ideal. So that consisted of responding to phone calls and emails via our practice manager, who was the only member of staff that was kept off of furlough, to ensure that patients had a rapid response and a rapid mode of response. The other methodology was methods of social media coverage. So to ensure that patients who responded to us on social media platforms had a mode to then communicate to us effectively on there. All the dentists also clubbed together to make sure that we could do little snippets of videos that we put together, so that the patients could then see our faces, which actually meant for a lot in some cases to ensure that they knew that we were still out there and they knew that we were still caring for them and thinking about them, which we heard on our feedback counted for a lot. So it's been a myriad of different platforms to ensure that our patients know that we're still caring and thinking about them, but also our team themselves as well.